The next topic that we want to cover in personalizing the diet is your physical constitution. People come in all shapes and sizes, and individual body size can be objectively placed on a sliding scale. Body types are often discussed among bodybuilders, nutritionists, and personal trainers to help us gain a better understanding of how to work with any one particular individual. As you can see, body type is often broken down and classified into three main categories: ectomorph, endomorph, and mesomorph. Taken together, these represent three generalized body types or soma types. Where do you fall on this spectrum? Ectomorphs are long and lean. Endomorphs are rounded with lots of muscle and body fat, a stockier structure, and a slower metabolism. Think of a football lineman. Mesomorphs are athletic and muscular, capable of gaining weight or losing weight easily thanks to their efficient metabolisms. Your individual body type actually plays quite an important role in determining which foods are ideal for you to eat on a daily basis and which foods tip you in an unfavorable direction. To better understand this concept, we're going to take a deeper look at the Ayurvedic tradition of understanding the body, and I'll show you a resource where you can learn more about your own individual body type and which foods might be best for you. The idea that every single body is unique and therefore requires certain types of foods for optimal nourishment is a concept that healers have known for thousands of years. The word Ayurveda comes from the Sanskrit term Ayur, meaning life, and Veda, meaning knowledge. This healing tradition involves all kinds of healing modalities and reaches far beyond simply understanding which diet is right for an individual. However, understanding your own body type and which foods nourish it best to create a state of balance and health is, in fact, a critical component of this tradition. Do you see anything familiar about this picture? The body types that are presented here are the same as the Western soma types that we just looked at, except in the Ayurvedic tradition, they have different names. So let me go ahead and clarify which of these names correspond to the various different body types. Vata is equivalent to an ectomorph, Pitta is equivalent to a mesomorph, and Kapha is the same as an endomorph. In the Ayurvedic tradition, you embrace the skin you're in. The focus is on working with the body you were given to create a type of internal balance, something that can be at least partially achieved by eating foods that balance your inherent dosha or body type. Doshas are essentially energies believed to circulate in the body and govern physiological activity. Your predominant dosha or doshas have a direct impact on your body type. If you are not familiar with your Ayurvedic dosha, you can take a free online quiz to discover it at chopra.com. When you visit the website, click on the tab that says Self-Care and then click on the Dosha quiz. I'll include the link that will take you directly to this quiz in the weekly materials. Let's take a look at the three dosha types. See if you can recognize your body in these three. Does one particular dosha resonate more with you than the others? Starting over on the left side of the screen, Vata dosha is associated with the body type that is thin, prone to dry skin, nervous or anxious energy. This dosha is light, airy, and quick. Their sleep is often light and restless. They tend to be more sensitive to cold and have an overactive mind and sporadic energy. And on the bright side, Vata is creative, adaptable, and enthusiastic. Pitta dosha has a medium build. The body tends to run hot, and these people have an athletic or muscular composition. They are prone to muscle inflammation. Pitta is characterized by being intelligent, competitive, hardworking, hot-tempered, irritable when skipping meals, goal-oriented, and having a sharp intellect. Kapha dosha has a stocky build. This dosha is cold, damp, and steady. Kapha gains weight easily. They are typically heavy sleepers, easygoing, fun-loving, nurturing, grounded, prone to melancholy or depression, compassionate, and affectionate. It is possible for people to have a predominance of one or two doshas, and some people are tridoshic, meaning they are equally balanced in all three. In the Ayurvedic tradition, it is considered essential to understand your dosha so that you can know when your body and mind are out of balance. When this happens, there are typically certain foods which can help create more balance in your body. For example, when out of balance, Vata tends to cause fear, anxiety, isolation, loneliness, and exhaustion. This imbalance is more frequently experienced by those with a Vata-dominant constitution, those who tend to be naturally lean and have a hard time putting on weight and are prone to anxiety. Vata imbalance can lead to both physical and energetic depletion, disrupt proper communication, and cause all sorts of abnormal movements in the body such as tics, tremors, and muscle spasms. People with a Vata dosha imbalance can bring their energy back into alignment by eating more cooked and grounding foods and less raw fruits and vegetables. They can also sip warm herbal tea throughout the day to calm the nervous system. Some examples of Vata balancing foods are mung bean dal with cooked tofu, cooked artichoke with ghee or butter, cooked beets, cooked squash, and homemade almond milk. If you have a mesomorph or pitta type of body, then you are more prone toward inflammation. When pitta is out of balance, one may experience inflammation, infection, excess heat or oiliness, discoloration of the skin, sour and salty taste or smell. In order to restore balance to a pitta constitution, it is best to consume foods that are sweet, cooling, and astringent. Some examples are watermelon, mung beans, celery, apple, fig, kale, pasta, of course the gluten-free kind, coconut, cilantro, and cabbage. A kapha imbalance may show up in the form of excessive sluggishness or tiredness. When this element becomes predominant in the body, it can show up as excess body fluids and mucus, seasonal allergies, a thick white coating on the tongue, sticky and sluggish bowel movements, weight gain and difficulty losing weight, difficulty getting out of bed in the morning, brain fog and lethargy, feeling overly sentimental, complacent, or stubborn, and a tendency for emotional overeating. To balance excess kapha, you should prioritize warmth, stimulation, and invigorating exercise and other practices. Foods that can balance kapha dosha are bitter, astringent, and pungent in flavor. Foods that are dry in nature are beneficial for balancing kapha dosha. For kapha excess, it is recommended to actively and consciously moderate how much food you are eating, as well as to make it a point to consume light food. Also, foods that are spicy, hot, fresh, pungent, and bitter are often beneficial. Fasting is often a very useful practice for those with kapha dosha, and these people tend to do great with the practice of intermittent fasting. Some examples of foods that will help to balance a kapha dosha are okra, berries, black beans, sprouts, peppers, lemons and limes, spinach, pumpkin seeds, wild rice, and cherries. Just like individual bodies need certain types of foods to balance their energy, we also experience a need to change up our diets at various points throughout the year in order to maintain that inner balance. Taking the season into consideration when planning your diet is another tool that you can use to personalize your diet. With each season comes the natural availability and disappearance of certain types of foods, and these food sources correspond with the changing climate. For example, in the northern hemisphere, starting in November and going through March, we enter what is known as the Vata season. During Vata season, the air is cold and dry. As a result, our bodies tend to need more foods that are warm and oily. Cooked and grounding foods are best during this time. This is not the ideal time of year to start a juice cleanse, as it can throw your body even further out of balance. During kapha season, between March and July, try to avoid food that is moist, heavy, cold, bubbly, and thick. Instead, incorporate foods that are light, with flavors that are pungent, bitter, and astringent. This is the time of year to start a juice cleanse and add copious amounts of raw veggies to the diet. During pitta season, from July through October, it is recommended to eat more foods that are sweet, cool, light, and moist. Fresh fruits and vegetables are on the table during these months. By eating according to the seasons, we are putting our bodies in sync with the rhythms of nature. This can reduce stress, improve digestion, and enhance your balance and well-being. Your personal physical makeup absolutely has an impact on your diet and health and can inform you about which foods are best to eat and which ones might be better to stay away from. Beyond this, context always matters. Your environment will change your orientation to food as well. The season of year and environmental conditions associated with that season will impact the way your body processes and integrates different foods. This is why, at the end of the day, those individuals who make food choices with a clear mind are their own best authority on whether or not something is good for their body. There are so many ways to explain the fact that every human being is just as unique as their fingerprint. From your personality, to the foods that nourish you, to what kind of environment feels most comfortable, there's no one size fits all. And it is my hope that by working to personalize your diet, you will become more closely aligned with the diet and lifestyle that serves you best. Alright, we have reached the end of today's presentation. This wraps up the learning portion of the 4-week Guided Nutrition Challenge. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate you for making it through 4 weeks of committed learning. You made it. My hope is that you got some valuable insight and direction throughout this program. It has been my honor to put this program together for you. Remember that if you have any questions, you know how to reach me. send me an email at andrea.jones.nutrition@gmail.com. Thank you very much, and I'll see you at this week's group meetup.